three phases.
Bringing all three phases together is really critical to their success.
They've got a great team, all three phases.
Does in all three phases.
From all three phases.
In all three phases.
Can we stack plays in all three phases?
But all three phases did a solid job.
There's room for improvement on all three phases.
All three phases is a good win.
It's the playoff edition of all three phases. Our quarterback, Dan Orlovsky, talking about the offense. Our defensive back, Jason McCourty, breaking down the defense. And sports betting analyst, Joe Fortenbaugh, giving us a special bet. Let's start here with the Saturday game, Bills-Broncos. When you look at Josh Allen and this Buffalo's offense, how do they attack this defense of the Broncos?
Backs and tight ends, backs and tight ends, backs and tight ends. I think this is the strength of Buffalo, and this is the weakness of Denver. This is the way that you want to attack a defense in Denver that has Surtain and Riley Moss, but plays a ton of man. Now, Buffalo does an outstanding job of pre-snap motion to create those matchups, confirm information, and then attack. They'll motion a guy over like a Shakir. You're going to get Kincaid, that tight end. He's the one-on-one matchup. If you're going to cover Kincaid this weekend with a linebacker, Josh Allen is going to feature him down the field. He's a very difficult, very good route runner, very loose at the top of his routes. Those are going to be advantageous matchups. Shakir's the guy. He's the motion person. Now, a lot of people think of Khalil Shakir as a wide receiver. He is. He's also utilized as a back in many ways. There goes that motion. And then James Cook. How are you going to cover James Cook? Sometimes teams have tried to double team him, get him matched up with a linebacker and or defensive end. He's just too dynamic a big pass catcher. So Kincaid, Knox, James Cook, and Shakir. They got to go for about 20 catches for over 150 yards.
J-Mac, why is Denver's defense so tough to face?
You talk about the front five. Those are the guys that get after you on early downs. They're going to have five guys rush to get one-on-ones with your offensive linemen. When they do that, they believe my five is better than yours. On third down, that's where you're going to start to see some of those games show up and be able to get around and cause havoc. Get to Josh Allen and don't allow those guys to beat you. Then on the other side, he mentioned Dalton Kincaid. If I'm the Denver Broncos, I'm putting Pat Surtain, my best cornerback, on their tight end with the injuries they have at the wide receiver position.
Joe, what's the play?
Under 45.5 total points. Dan was talking about Buffalo's offense, pre-snap motion, how they want to see what the defense is going to show them. That takes time off the clock. They have the slowest pace in the NFL. You limit the plays, you limit the opportunities to score. Key to the handicap is the amount of man coverage Denver plays. It's a lot. If you go through Buffalo's metrics this year, zone coverage versus man, their completion percentage drops off by 11 percentage points. QB rating drops off by 10 points. It's not an Allen problem. It's a wide receiver problem. They don't beat man coverage. They don't get open consistently down the field.
Bills currently 1.5-point underdogs on the road. This season, keep in mind, Josh Allen, 5-0 against the spread when the line is within a field goal. Keep that in mind. All right, Saturday night, Niners, Seahawks, they'll meet for the second time in 3 weeks.
Why don't you give me a special bet?
Sam Darnold right now, some concerns. He's not 100%. Yeah. You got to rely on this running game. What makes this running attack so special?
Yeah, they pick off defensive backs like him.
He's crazy. Crazy, Dan.
These wide receivers do a fantastic job. And, you know, in football, we say the 5-yard run becomes a 10 or 12-yard run when you have receivers that are willing to block, all three of them. You talk JSN, you talk Cooper Kupp, you talk Rashid Shaheed. And so the challenge for San Francisco is, can those defensive backs, those corners and those safeties, are those guys going to not only trigger faster, get to the ball faster, but then also be more physical? They can't get picked off, because if you get picked off in this run game, there's seams for this run game. And so I think that's going to be a huge key, whether Sam Darnold is healthy or not. Can San Francisco's back seven kind of out-physical the wide receiver core in Seattle?
J-Mac, what do you expect to see from this Seattle defense?
Man, they dominated in the last time they got a chance to go against this offense. I think when it comes to them and throwing the ball with Brock Purdy, it's packing that middle of the field and understanding the route concepts that are trying to beat you. You got to watch these inside defenders. As soon as they get cleared, you see them dropping back to the middle with vision on the quarterback. Now here, Thomas comes off. He sees the ball thrown, makes a big hit. Same thing here. You're going to watch right in the middle. Jones comes straight back, taking away the middle of the field. Then right next to him, Witherspoon, they're communicating. He drops back to the middle, forces the check down, and they run and hit just as good as any defense in the league. right here, you're going to see how these guys work almost on a string. When one moves, the other one is moving right with him and reading the eyes of Brock Purdy. Now you see the routes. All right, if he's matching that low one, I now have to get to the one behind it, nowhere to go with the ball, and that's where the sack comes.
Which side you like, Joe?
Seattle -7. This is a brutal spot for the Niners. You got to play in Philly on the East Coast Sunday afternoon. Then you got to go to Seattle 6 days later against a team that's had 2 weeks to get ready. Situation advantage for Seattle. On top of that, Sam Darnold's kryptonite, pressure, something the Niners don't generate. Since week 3, when Nick Bosa was lost for the season, Niners ranked 31st in the NFL in pass rush win rate. On the other side, no George Kittle for a Niner offense that's generated just 20 points in 2 games against the Seattle defense. It's only giving up 17 points per game on the season. This game could get ugly.
All right, the Nuggets keep on coming in the playoffs. The Seahawks, by the way, 5-0 outright as a favorite when they're favored by at least 7 points. Okay?
Nuggy.
All right, this is what we do. We're backing up some of the things you're saying. All right. I mentioned this is a playoff edition back here on SportsCenter. Dan, when you look at it, especially from a quarterback perspective, what makes Puka so special?
You can move him around in so many different places. He's almost positionless. Then he's also a guy that you just give him the ball, and he'll go make plays with it because he's so physical with the ball in his hands. He's so difficult to tackle. He's almost like a running back when you're trying to tackle him, but the different ways you can utilize him. The Rams do an outstanding job of that. We call this the number 3 position. So he's closest to that tackle. He sees blitz. Not only does he sit in a soft spot, but there's the yards after the catch. Just a very difficult guy in space one-on-one. This time the Rams line him up at running back because they know the type of coverage he's going to get. Even though he's in that running back position, he's running routes like a wide receiver down the field. They love to give him jet sweeps or perimeter screens down in the red zone where you can get people out to the perimeter, then you throw him the ball. The defense is in the right place, but he's just so strong that you can't tackle him. So Sean McVay is constantly doing different things to get him the football and making sure that this is our best player. We want the ball in our best player's hands. So not only is he a great route runner, he has great awareness, he's just a guy that you want to make sure that you give him the football and touch it as many times as possible. And his understanding of when to come to the top of his break and speed out of it, or when to come to the top of the break and be a little bit slower. If you watch Puka run his routes, every time he gets to the top, he's always going to be peeking, and he's looking for where the defenders are. We call them the bad guys. Mm-hmm. He's always going to make sure, don't run to them, or if they're coming to him, run opposite, so he's getting himself open. Just a very smart but talented physically player.
Fearless always does the dirty work here. What's the bet you like in this game?
I think we get a lot of points here. Over 48.5.
Even though it's so cold.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. We're getting a discount here because it opened 51.5, and then the total got slammed earlier this week because of the weather, and it plummeted to 48.5. I think we're still priced for scoring. Let's start with the Rams defense. They have fallen off a cliff since week 13, 22nd or worse in scoring, efficiency, and EPA. On the other side, you have a Bears defense that ranks 23rd in scoring despite all the turnovers they forced this year. What happens if they're not forcing turnovers? They're giving up points. This game's priced to score. I'd go over 48.5.
Keep in mind, at a certain point in this game, around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, the feels like is going to be -4 degrees.
Football
Keep
weather,
that in mind. Cannot wait.
It's football weather.
Game to win, man.
What are we talking about? We're not in the studio with
just
Booger.
saying, keep it in mind. Late game on Sunday is Texans and Patriots here. What stands out about Drake May, especially matched up against this Texans defense?
You're always looking for what can I do against the defense to have success. This is probably one of the defenses, if not the one, where you go, I don't have a lot. If you're New England, I'd love to see 6 offensive linemen on the field more. That's something that just commits to protection for Josh McDaniels and Drake May. That's one of the things you have to start every single play against Houston. And they can build in ways where you can get a completion if you want. That's to the bottom of the screen. But then at the top of the screen, we call it a 2-on-1. You got to take shots against this defense. You're not going to hit them often. But if you have that protection, Drake May has the opportunity to peek down the field and try to create some conflict for defenders strong enough to drive the football. What Houston's going to have to ask themselves defensively is how, when New England puts that 6th offensive line on the field, do they want to defend it? The Chargers last week put 4 defensive backs, 7 bigs, right? 7 big defensive linemen or linebackers. Josh McDaniels like, great. Here comes run, here comes run, here comes run, here comes run. Psych, here comes play action. Then you take another shot. Travion Henderson really good in protection, but Drake May being able to, what we call layer the football over defenders, is really big. I don't think this is a game where you think, if you're New England, let's drive the length of the field all the time. You got to take 3 or 4 shots a quarter. If you hit one, that's an advantageous thing. The other thing is, I truly believe he's going to have to run for north of 70 or 80 yards. Houston doesn't give up a lot on defense, but an athletic quarterback that can make plays with his legs, that's a big deal.
I did not have the word psych being,
It just
put
speaks
out
to my
there on the
maturity
Sports
level.
Center broadcast here. Yeah.
Used.
Yeah.
Said.
Yeah. All right, what's the play in the matchup?
I'd take Houston plus 3.5, but that would mean I'd have to admit defeat in a debate against Dan from Get Up 8 weeks ago. So I'm going to run from my problems like my therapist and I talk about every Wednesday, and we're going to go under 40.5 points. A nice casual play to avoid the situation. I think this game is going to play out a little similar to what we just saw Sunday night in Foxborough. You got a great Houston defense going up against a Patriot offense where Drake May, against teams with a winning record this year, just 2-2 straight up, 2-2 against the spread, only 3 touchdowns, 3 picks, 17 sacks taken. I think it's going to be tough for them to move. And with Milton Williams back for New England, I think it's going to be tough for Houston to move as well. Low-scoring rock fight.
Season so far, the Texans allowed just over 17 points per game. That's the fewest in franchise history. You're going to do the entire show together, right?
Yeah.
Psych!
Yeah. Way to use that word.